first life-changing moment for me happened when I was 11 years old. At the time, my family was struggling. We had no money and very little food. My father, a good man, had lost his job, and while we weren't completely starving, our meals consisted of crackers and peanut butter. It was Thanksgiving, a holiday centered around abundance, which only made our situation feel worse. My parents were arguing intensely, saying things that couldn't be taken back, words that everyone would remember. I was trying to distract my younger siblings when suddenly there was a knock at the door. I opened it to find a tall man holding 2 bags of groceries, and on the ground beside him was a large pot with an uncooked turkey. He asked if my father was home. Excited, I ran to get him, but my dad was in the middle of an argument with my mom, yelling behind a closed door. When I told him someone was there for him, he insisted I handle it, but I said, "No, Dad, it's for you." I expected him to be thrilled. Instead, when he opened the door, he looked anything but happy. To my shock, he immediately said, "We don't accept charity," and tried to slam the door shut. The man remained calm and simply responded, "Sir, I'm just delivering this. Someone knows you're going through a tough time, and everyone does at some point. This is for your family." But my father refused, once again trying to shut the door. This time, the man blocked it with his leg. He then looked directly at me before turning to my father and saying something I will never forget. "Sir, don't let your pride stand in the way of taking care of your family." I thought my father was going to hit him. His face turned red, veins bulging at the sides of his neck, but instead he grabbed the bag, slammed them down, shut the door without a word, and walked away. That moment changed my life. Shortly after, my father left us, overcome with shame, feeling like he had failed his family. It was one of the hardest days of my life. What truly controls us throughout my life, I've worked with people facing unimaginable struggles. Some have lost their sight, their limbs, even their families. Yet they remain joyful, fulfilled, and driven. That's because it's not life itself that controls us. It's the life we choose to focus on. Write this down. You are not experiencing life. You are experiencing the life you focus on. Whatever you focus on becomes your reality. If you look for problems, you'll find them. If you look for gratitude, love, and opportunity, those will become your reality instead. Right now, if I asked you to think about things that frustrate you, challenges in your life, your family, or even the world, you could easily list them. But on the flip side, if you shifted your focus, you'd find just as many reasons to be grateful. People you love, those who love you, your health, your opportunities. What's wrong is always available, but so is what's right. When people say, "I've tried everything," they stop trying. They can have the solution right in front of them and still fail to see it. A lesson in perception, I remember a moment from my childhood that perfectly illustrates this idea. We were struggling financially, so I worked hard to buy groceries, riding my bike to the store, carrying everything back, cooking the meal, only to finally sit down and hear my parents say, "Go get the salt." I was exhausted and starving, so I'd respond, "I don't know where it is." But I wasn't lying. I genuinely couldn't see it, even though it was right in front of me. The same thing happens in life. Sometimes we don't see the answers that are already there simply because we're not looking for them. I wasn't lying. I genuinely couldn't see it. Frustrated, my parents would say, "It's right in front of you." And sure enough, the moment I changed my focus, there it was. This small moment taught me a big lesson. What we focus on determines what we experience. The same applies to life. When people insist they've tried everything, they unconsciously stop searching for solutions. The answer might be right there, but if they're not open to seeing it, they won't. The power of perspective. Think about it. How many times have you searched for something, convinced it was lost, only to find it was right in front of you the whole time? That's how life works. Our minds filter reality based on our focus. If we're constantly looking for what's wrong, that's all we'll notice. But if we train ourselves to see opportunities, they become visible. This isn't just positive thinking, it's a shift in perspective. Have you ever met someone who, despite facing unimaginable hardship, radiates joy? It's because they choose to focus on what they have rather than what they lack. The truth is, life doesn't control us, our focus does. When we change what we look at, we change our entire experience. Shifting the stories we tell ourselves shape our reality. If someone believes life is unfair, and that nothing ever works out, that belief will dictate their actions and results. On the other hand, if they believe challenges are opportunities for growth, they will find ways to overcome obstacles. It all comes down to one thing. Are you focusing on limitations or possibilities? If you feel stuck, consider this. What if the only thing holding you back is the way you're looking at your situation? Sometimes a simple shift in focus is all it takes to unlock the next step forward. I wasn't exactly sure where the salt was. They told me get the salt, and I thought, I know where it is. So I got up to grab it, but then suddenly I found myself saying, I don't know where the salt is. I opened the cupboard, scanning the shelves. It's on the second shelf, they said. I looked again, still nothing. Then my dad walked up beside me, reached right in front of my face and pulled out the salt. What's this? He asked. At that moment, I realized I had been telling myself the same story repeatedly. I don't know where the salt is. Even though my eyes saw it, my brain filtered it out. In psychology, this is known as a schema or a blind spot, where your brain literally blocks out the solution. How often have you tried helping someone, guiding them through a solution, yet they just couldn't see it? It's because of their own internal narrative, their limiting belief. If you keep repeating, I always end up at the bottom, or nothing I try ever works, you reinforce that reality. Even if it feels true, it's the wrong story to tell yourself. Instead, reframe it. I've faced challenges that have strengthened me. Now, I'm prepared for the next step. It might sound simple, but if your mindset is trapped in a limiting story, you'll reject solutions before even trying them. When someone presents a strategy, you might dismiss it with, I've already tried that, or that only works for other people, not me. Your story is what holds you back. To break free, you must let go of the narrative of limitation and embrace the truth of your real potential. Some people let go of an old story only to revisit it repeatedly, like going back to an ex. But to move forward, you must fully detach. With the right story, you'll naturally find the right strategy, even if no one shows it to you. However, your story is shaped by something even more fundamental, your state. Think about this. Have you ever been angry with someone and suddenly every single thing they've ever done to upset you floods your mind? Or on the flip side, have you ever been in love where even the smallest requests, like taking out the trash, felt effortless? At the beginning of a relationship, you're in a different emotional state. If your partner asks you to take out the trash, you happily do it, eager to help. Fast forward weeks, months, or years later, and the same request might be met with irritation. What do I look like, your janitor? What changed? Your state. When you're in a positive state, everything flows. The good news is you can change your state. Your mind and emotions are within your control. When you're in a great state, everything feels effortless. You respond differently, you think more clearly, and solutions seem to appear naturally. The key is recognizing that your emotions and mindset shape your experience. So how do you change your state? It starts with your body. The way you move, breathe, and hold yourself affects how you feel. Think about it. When someone is feeling down, their shoulders slump, their breathing is shallow, and their energy is low. But when they're confident, they stand tall, breathe deeply, and move with purpose. Your physiology dictates your emotions. If you want to feel more empowered, start by adjusting your posture, increasing your energy, and shifting your focus. Small physical changes can lead to massive mental shifts. But it's not just about movement. What you consistently focus on shapes your reality. If you dwell on problems, they grow larger in your mind. But if you train yourself to focus on solutions, opportunities begin to emerge. This isn't about ignoring reality, it's about directing your attention in a way that serves you. People who succeed in any area of life aren't necessarily the ones with the easiest path. They're the ones who control their state, rewrite their story, and take action with certainty. When you master this, obstacles don't disappear, but your ability to handle them transforms. You see challenges as stepping stones rather than roadblocks. And that shift, changing your state, rewriting your story, and choosing the right strategy is what creates lasting success. If you want to make a change, the first step is to shift your state of mind. Have you ever found yourself sitting at home thinking, I need to turn things around. I have to figure this out, but feeling stuck? In that state, clear answers are hard to come by. However, if you shift into a completely different energized state, like we do in seminars, suddenly new beliefs and perspectives emerge. Once you're in that heightened state, taking action becomes natural because your body and mind are aligned. Your drive increases and stress hormones like cortisol decrease. For decades, I've taught that the fastest way to change your mental state is by making an immediate, dramatic shift in how you use your body. Your state directly influences your perspective. Think about it. When you're deeply in love, challenges seem insignificant. Even financial struggles feel minor because your emotions shape your reality. When you're in the right state of mind, your story about life shifts, allowing you to see new possibilities and solutions. Consider Martin Luther King Jr. He didn't have a clear blueprint for transforming America, but he had a vision and a purpose. His "I have a dream" speech wasn't about logistics, it was about inspiration. The same was true for President Kennedy when he declared that America would put a man on the moon and bring him back safely within a decade. At the time, even NASA's experts didn't know how to achieve it, but Kennedy wasn't concerned with how. He focused on what needed to be done and why it mattered. If you have a powerful enough reason for what you want, you'll figure out how to achieve it. But that clarity only comes when you change your state. The key to transforming your life starts with radically shifting your mindset. When you do that, your story evolves, and suddenly the how becomes clear. Once you alter your state, your mind opens up to new possibilities. That's when solutions start to emerge. When you're stuck in a low energy state, you remain trapped in the same limiting thoughts. But the moment you break that cycle and shift your energy, everything changes. You gain clarity and taking action becomes second nature. It's not about knowing every step in advance, it's about committing to a vision and stepping forward with conviction. History has proven this time and time again. Those who create real change don't always start with a perfect plan. They begin with a powerful sense of purpose, and from that, the strategy unfolds. The truth is, knowledge alone isn't enough. Many people know what they should do, but never follow through. Why? Because they're operating from the wrong state. If you want momentum, you must condition your mind and body to work for you, not against you. That's why making a radical shift in your physiology, your movement, your focus, your energy is the fastest way to gain control over your life. When you harness this power, you stop reacting to life and start directing it. Your story shifts from "I don't know what to do" to "I'll find a way." And with the right mindset, you won't just hope for success, you'll create it.